Hi, my name is Victor Penniman, and I have Asperger's syndrome. I have a doctorate in music from Indiana University School of Music, where I studied there to study historical performance, actually, which is early music. And I have been a college music professor for 12 years. I'm currently in a career transition as since the recession hit, programs got cut, and though I was a tenured professor, I am no longer because my program was eliminated. So I'm transitioning into self-employment now to become a full-time professional musician, if that's possible in this day and age. We'll soon be finding out. But in the process of becoming self-employed, I, of course, needed to get health insurance. I have my own company, Ormsby Productions.
What is it?
It's called Ormsby Productions. ORMESBY Productions. You can find all one word, just with the www and the .com on the end. You can find me on the web.
There you go.
And I perform. I'm a professional violist da gamba, historical instrument, but I also play that electric thing that you may see.
What don't you play?
I play pretty much anything with strings on it. One of the benefits of having a mind like mine is being able to make connections between things, and stringed instruments are my thing. And anyway, in the process of getting my business together and working very hard at doing so, I needed to get health insurance. And I was able to get a policy that was much too more expensive than I can afford right now. And so in the process of looking for a better policy, they found one for me. I didn't. It wasn't found for me. I found it. And I applied for it through Golden Rule Insurance. And I received a letter last week telling me that I had been rejected, been actually refused health insurance, because of my ASD.
But you were a tenured professor.
I was a tenured professor. My treatment for my ASD, I was diagnosed only this last September of 2012. I've lived my whole life, as many people my age, I'm 45 years old, most people my age on the autism spectrum, we didn't have the things that kids and young people have now to help them learn about their ASD and how to cope with it and how to get on in the world. We all had to sort of make it up on our own. And those of you who have experienced that know that it's a very difficult process, and it can be a very unfriendly world. And if you don't know why it's so unfriendly, it becomes even more so. So I was diagnosed in September, finally, which opened the world to me, really. I mean, it explained so much. And I actually kind of immediately became an advocate for people like myself, having grown up like that and having experienced the things that ASD people experience socially and just in everyday life, and the difficulties that we have to go through.
But you did it. I mean, college,
yes,
everything. I
yes.
mean,
yeah.
What you have a doctorate in?
I hold a doctorate in music. Yes, I also have a master's in historical musicology. I had to get the master's first before I could get the doctorate. So
yeah.
So, and then I've been employed.
You were teaching at Rockhurst.
I was teaching at Rockhurst University. I taught there for 2 years. I actually resigned that post because after my diagnosis, I immediately went to HR and let them know, because now I understood things that I didn't before, and needed to, I immediately set about talking about it and communicating with people that this is who I am. Apparently, I'm learning still.
Yeah.
What it's all about and what this all means. It's very much a new outlook on both my past and my present. And unfortunately, the place of employment was not particularly accommodating, and that's a gentle way of putting it. And I needed to resign. My Asperger's therapist, my autism therapist, strongly recommended that I resign my post because it was a very unfriendly environment for someone like myself.
Which is kind of not right, but
yeah, it's kind of not right. But that's
that's life.
I'm sure folks that see this video will know that it's not unusual.
Yeah.
I immediately read the book Asperger's on the Job with the introduction by Temple Grandin, which is an excellent book about just getting on in the workplace. It's both for employees and employers, and how to make your life a lot easier going to work every day. Would that I had read that years ago. So anyway, after I needed to resign and wound up in kind of a bad situation with having to leave on disability and so forth. But it gave me an opportunity to start putting my business together, and I applied for this insurance and was flatly turned down. I had no idea that I would be discriminated against, really, because of my condition. And I'm not going to cost them anything. I see a therapist once every couple of weeks, and I don't take any medication.
I know a lot of people that go a lot more than that.
Yeah. Well, because I kind of made it up as I went along growing up. One learns to put on a mask, to put on a facade before we go outside, before we go out into the world, to try and get on with other people, and we try to do our best to fit in. But of course, as I'm sure many people know, when the going gets rough, the mask falls. That's when it comes down, and that's usually the worst time for it to come down, because that's when you need it the most, and it doesn't hold up. And that's when we get called things like arrogant and obnoxious and so forth and so on, and or we have a panic attack and people don't understand and call the cops or something like that.
Yeah.
In fact, I went so far as to I think I have it on me. Went so far as to actually get a Med Alert bracelet.
Yes.
Which actually broke last night,
okay.
So that's why it's not on my wrist at the moment. But I have right on it Asperger's syndrome, because I have had public experiences in which I was unaware that I was behaving strangely. Of course, I'm unaware of it. That's the hallmark of the condition.
Autism.
is a lack of awareness of one's own bearing and tone of voice and so forth, and has always been a difficult obstacle for me personally. And after a few rather rough encounters, I finally put it on a bracelet so I could just say, "Look, see, now please
understand.
Please understand if you can, and give me space. I'll be fine in a moment."
Yes.
I'm not a danger to you or to anyone else. I'm having a moment. An Asperger's moment. I was surprised because if you're on the web, if you're on Facebook or whatever, you see a lot of advocacy now going on for people with on the spectrum, and so of course my take on this was that there was a lot of support for it. Well, the 2 + 2 that I didn't add together to make 4 was that there's a lot of support for it because there's a lot of danger for people like myself, and a lot of people who don't understand. And so the advocacy is absolutely essential. And I've never been blatantly discriminated against before until now. And I needed this policy because it was much less expensive. The policy that I had before, actually they doubled the rate because of my ASD.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What company was that?
That would be Aetna. Aetna doubled my rate. And as a self-employed person, well, transitioning into self-employment,
Yeah.
which is a sort of code for unemployed at the moment.
Yes.
Right? Every penny counts, and insurance is very expensive. And so to have to be shelling out this much, and if I hadn't said anything, that wouldn't have happened. But
Exactly.
then I go to my therapist, and I look like I'm committing fraud.
Exactly.
So what do I do? What do I do?
Exactly.
So I thank you for your support, and for your advocacy. And if there's anything I can do, please let me know. Thank you very much.